In 2026, billions of dollars in commercial real estate loans originated during the low-rate era are hitting maturity. Property owners are colliding with a new reality, forced to refinance legacy debt against current commercial mortgage rates sitting between 6.5 and 8%. At the exact same time, banking institutions have severely tightened their underwriting standards. Traditional 80% loan-to-value commercial mortgages no longer exist. Lenders now require substantial equity, compressing commercial LTVs down to 55%, while pushing debt service coverage ratio hurdles up to a strict 1.40x. This tightening has devastated traditional sectors. The multifamily market is currently experiencing a massive cap rate inversion. Yields have spiked to 7.5%, driven by a severe supply glut across Sunbelt markets, surging insurance premiums, and rising labor costs. Because of this stagnation, we are tracking a 20% increase in institutional capital pivoting out of multifamily syndications and directly into the outdoor hospitality space. RV parks benefit from strong structural drivers. A softening economy forces consumers to trade down to localized RV trips, providing a resilient demand floor. Stringent zoning laws create a 24 to 48-month entitlement moat that blocks new supply. And high-speed fiber internet has turned the work-from-camp remote lifestyle into a permanent standard. Traditional bank debt is mathematically dead for distressed assets. Surviving the credit crunch requires manufacturing equity directly out of aging outdoor infrastructure, rather than waiting for standard real estate appreciation to save the deal. Amateurs attempt to buy turnkey real estate at retail prices. Professionals acquire distressed properties by restructuring the transaction as a sophisticated estate planning strategy for the seller. To execute this, we rely on the Mori Method. It serves as our mathematical foundation for evaluating both transaction risk and tax exposure during an acquisition. The Mori Method converts a distressed property's volatile historical net operating income and CapEx spikes into mathematically predictable log-normal probability density bell curves. Unlike the ASCE method, this precision demands independent log-normal random variables, allowing us to project exact default risks and cash flow cushions. This blueprint requires precise forensic engineering. It is designed exclusively for sophisticated commercial capital partners equipped to execute complex underwriting. It is absolutely not for passive retail buyers. If you cannot completely underwrite the underlying physical infrastructure and the tax structures of an asset, you're simply the yield for someone else. Entering due diligence reveals the split reality, the massive gap between a broker's stabilized pro forma pitch and the operational truth of a distressed property. Retiring independent owners routinely inflate their net operating income through aggressive add-backs. They classify unpaid family labor, personal vehicle expenses, and off-the-books cash revenue as legitimate margin. We call this the margin bleed. During the forensic audit, these artificial adjustments are stripped away. Unpaid family labor is replaced with market-rate professional property management fees, utility expenses are adjusted to reflect actual rates, and recurring CapEx reserves are factored back in. The resulting number is the true NOI. We use this exact true NOI to mathematically prove to the seller that their property cannot generate enough cash flow to cover the 1.25x debt service coverage ratio required by traditional commercial banks. Uncovering the true NOI is your primary operational weapon. You use it to break the seller's inflated pricing expectations and force their capitulation on financing terms. The next step is hunting for infrastructure glitches. Older independent RV parks frequently feature compromised electrical systems, often daisy-chaining electrical feeders from pedestal to pedestal. We evaluate this using the Saturday night load test. The protocol begins by setting an AC multimeter to a 150-volt range and inserting the probes into a pedestal's receptacle to capture the 120-volt baseline measurement. We then plug in a heavy resistive heating load to the adjacent outlet. Watch the voltage drop while the load is actively drawing power. Any drop exceeding 5 volts indicates compromised feeder lines or heavy corrosion. We also execute a phase leg balancing analysis at the main distribution panel boards. If a string of pedestals has an uneven 9-to-5 split across the legs, the main breaker will trip prematurely under continuous peak weekend load. Under the 2026 National Electrical Code, RVs equipped with shore power are required to use grounding monitor interrupters. If you acquire a legacy park with a high-impedance grounding system, those modern GMIs will immediately disconnect power, triggering systemic blackouts across your property. To an amateur buyer, a failing electrical grid kills the deal. To a forensic buyer, it is a precisely quantified liability used to shift the capital expenditure risk directly back onto the seller. Septic system failures represent the most common and expensive operational failure in independent parks. Replacing a basic gravity-fed anaerobic drain field costs between $5,000 and $12,000. But if the soil fails, installing a fully engineered commercial park-scale system will cost up to $80,000. Accurately underwriting this risk requires mandatory soil percolation testing and strict municipal permitting before you close the deal. Uncovering an $80,000 septic liability during physical due diligence gives you the exact leverage required to negotiate a 0% seller-financed note. Securing that financing requires a complete psychological shift. You must stop presenting seller financing as a traditional debt instrument, where the retiring owner acts as the bank. We call this the fiduciary pivot. You reframe the transaction as an IRC Section 453 estate planning strategy. This positions the deal as a direct solution to the seller's 4Ds: death, divorce, debt, and desire. This flowchart compares the outcomes. A traditional cash sale triggers immediate, catastrophic capital gains taxation. Under a Section 453 installment sale, the note can be integrated with a deferred sales trust, avoiding probate and allowing the passive income stream to pass cleanly to beneficiaries. We utilize the seesaw lever strategy. We satisfy the seller's inflated nominal purchase price target, and in exchange, they carry a below-market 0 to 5% interest-only note. You must navigate the IRS imputed interest trap. If your structured note carries an interest rate below the applicable federal rate, which is 2.87% for a short-term note in June 2026, the IRS will forcibly reclassify a portion of your tax-favored principal payments as ordinary income. Executed correctly, the fiduciary pivot delivers mutual benefit. The seller legally defers massive tax liabilities while securing a passive annuity, and the buyer secures high-leverage, sub-market carry completely unattainable from traditional commercial lenders. The deal architect must avoid critical statutory traps. Trap number 1 is the depreciation recapture cash call. Any accumulated depreciation taken on personal property or cost segregation components is completely ineligible for installment reporting. It triggers an immediate ordinary income tax bill in the year of disposition, regardless of how little cash the seller actually received at closing. You also have to navigate state-level tax nonconformity laws, as well as the rising federal reporting thresholds for 1099s under the 2026 One Big Beautiful Bill Act. If the distressed asset is burdened by existing low-interest commercial debt originated during the 2016 cycle, we deploy a subject-to acquisition structure. The purchaser takes title while leaving the existing mortgage in place and servicing the legacy payments. To prevent the senior lender from triggering their due-on-sale acceleration clause, the seller executes a warranty deed conveying ownership, but the physical deed remains unrecorded in a neutral third-party escrow. Precise forensic engineering threads the needle between surviving senior lender acceleration clauses and avoiding IRS recapture traps. To insulate the purchaser from legacy liabilities discovered during the audit, we deploy due diligence escrow holdbacks. If the seller fails to remediate identified electrical or septic non-compliance prior to closing, the escrow agent releases funds directly to the purchaser to execute the upgrades. The ultimate contractual protection is the right of offset against seller notes. Looking at this contract diagram, you can see how this differs from a retail bank's common law right of offset. This is a bilateral commercial mechanism. It requires a formal good faith claim notice, allowing the purchaser to deduct the cost of any post-closing damages directly from the outstanding principal balance of the seller note. The contract language must explicitly state that exercising this right of offset in good faith will not constitute an event of default under the seller notes. If a leach field collapses 3 months post-closing, you don't litigate. You execute the repair, submit the invoice to escrow, and reduce your principal balance. The right of offset eliminates your out-of-pocket CapEx risk. The final asset is fully engineered. Sub-market carry is locked in. Deferred maintenance is cured using the seller's equity, and the true NOI is stabilized. By executing this within the 2026 outdoor hospitality space, you capture a 200 to 400 basis point positive spread over borrowing costs, far away from the failing multifamily sector. If you are a high net worth limited partner or syndicator and you possess verified liquidity and a strict understanding of the Mori Method framework, contact our team immediately. In a high interest rate environment, premium yield is never found. It is forensically engineered.